Hey guys, welcome to Basics of Networking in Linux Part 2. In this lecture, we'll talk about Uncomplicated Firewall. For a long time, security in Linux was configured through the use of iptables command, which is a very powerful command. However, it is also very complicated, especially for new users. It could take them weeks or months to just get up to speed with the iptables command. Now with Uncomplicated Firewall, you get a very user-friendly framework to manage your firewall. The structure of Uncomplicated Firewall is UFW, then -- dry run if you want to run your rules in a dry run mode, some options, and then the rule syntax. Now let's head back to the lab system to try out some rules. Now to allow a port on UFW firewall, you can type in sudo UFW allow and then the port number. Let's say I want to allow port 80. I'll just type in sudo UFW allow 80. If I want to deny port 80, I'll just type in sudo UFW deny 80. Now to get help on UFW, I can just type in sudo UFW help, and this will give me a list of all commands available. So enable will enable the firewall, disable will disable the firewall. You can allow, you can deny, you can reject, and you can also limit. You can insert rules, delete rules, you can reset the firewall, reload the firewall, and get status. So first let's start with getting the status of the firewall. So sudo UFW status, and this is telling us that the firewall is actually inactive. So whatever rules we put in won't work right now because the firewall is inactive. Now what we need to do is we need to enable the firewall, and to do that we need to type in sudo UFW enable. Now once the firewall is enabled, we can run the status command again, and this will give us the rules that we've configured. So we are denying port 80 to anywhere. Now if you don't want to delete these rules, we can keep them, or we can reset the firewall so we can start fresh. So sudo UFW reset, and that will reset the firewall completely. And after reset, we have to enable the firewall again. And now if we check for a status, it says firewall active, but it has no rules. Now let's say I've got MySQL server installed on this machine, and the IP address of this machine is, if I type in ipaddr show, you can see the IP address of this machine is 10.0.2.15. Now I want any other machine on port on the 10.0.2 network to be able to access MySQL server on this machine. So MySQL server uses port 3306. So what I'll need to do is I need to specify the network range of 10.0.2 network, and then I need to specify the port number of MySQL server, which is 3306. So I can do that by typing in sudo UFW. I'm allowing access from 10.0.2.0/24 to 10.0.2.0/24. So to the 10.0.2 network, and I'm allowing access on port 3306. And now if I do a status, then I can see that on 10.0.2 network I have allowed access for 3306. Now let's say I want to make this box a web server as well, so I will allow access to port 80 on this X server. Now I've added port 80, and if I do a status, you can see that the port 80 is allowed on this machine. However, I also want to protect my system against DOS attacks. So DOS attacks are denial of service attacks, where a malicious attacker will send so many requests to your target system that all the resources for on your target system will be utilized by the requests coming from the attacker. Now if a legitimate user was to access your system during that time, they will not get any resources. So they will get, let's say, could not load page or any other error. You want to protect your systems against these type of attacks. So you can limit the number of requests coming from a single IP address on port 80 on this machine. So to do that, you need to type in sudo UFW limit 80. Now instead of 80, I could have also typed in HTTP, and this would have done the same thing. So if I do a status again, it says I'm actually limiting port 80/TCP. Now we can also deny, and as I've mentioned before, you can do a deny on, let's say I want to deny the port for SSH, and if I do a status, it'll deny the port. Now I've got so many rules, I want to delete some rules. What I can do is I can type in UFW status numbered, and this will give us the rules with numbers against them. And all I need to do to delete a rule is I can type in sudo UFW delete and then a rule number. So let's say I want to delete rule number 5. To do that, I can type in delete 5. Yes, I want to proceed with the operation. And if I do a status again, it has deleted rule number 5 and moved rule number 7 and 6 to 5 and 6 respectively. Now we can reset the firewall as I've showed you, or we can disable the firewall if you want to keep the rules. So to disable the firewall, I can just type in sudo UFW disable. Now the difference between disable and reset is reset will disable the firewall and delete all the rules. However, disable will only disable the firewall, it'll keep all the rules. So in case you enable, your rules will be there in the firewall. With this, we've come to the end of this lecture. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye.